And the race for the NDC's internal elections is heating up. I caught up with Deputy National Organizer for the NDC, Chief Biney, who says he's going for the ultimate, the National Organizer position. But what is he bringing aboard? He explains to me here on The Pulse. Biney, thank you for talking to Joy News. The reorganization of the National Democratic Congress is underway, where somewhat at the regional stage, if we should call it as such, in terms of your reorganization process. The next step will be the national contest. Quite a lot of names have come up, but you have made your intentions clear that you are scaling up your interests in terms of how you want to serve the National Democratic Congress. You've thrown in your statement indicating clearly that you want to lead the NDC as its next national organizer. Why is Chief Biney going into this race?
Okay, thank you. Like you rightly said, I think it's time for reorganization. We started working on our branches. We've done our audits. We've done elections for the branch officers. Now they are delegates now. They are going into constituency conferences to elect constituency officers. And like you rightly said, after that is done, they will now come and elect regional officers, then both constituency and region, plus some other former appointees and others will join at the National Congress to elect officers to lead the party. As you rightly said, I'm the Deputy National Organizer. I've been serving this party right from polling agent. I've been a constituency vice chairman. I've been a parliamentary candidate aspirant. I've been a regional security coordinator for Central Region NDC, and then currently a deputy national organizer. Where we are now and where we're going, I am of a strong view that given the nod as a national organizer, I will add a lot to make the party more attractive to recapture power come 2024. So these are the reasons why I think that, I need to pick a form and give myself up for the delegates to make a decision.
When you say Chief Biney, is there anyone in the NDC who's yet to discover what you bring on board, what you stand for, and what your contribution has been towards the growth and success of the NDC?
Not yet, because I've been out there working for this party and I've been consistent as much as party duties are concerned. So it will be difficult for, I wouldn't even believe it if there is somebody in the party who will ask what Chief Biney stands for or what Chief Biney has contributed. I think I've been down with them right from the grassroots up there, and they have seen what I have been doing for the party and continuously do. And so I am of a strong view that putting myself up, the delegate will make a right decision by choosing me to be the national organizer of the party.
Let's give that benefit of the doubt. Tell us what you've done concretely for the NDC, a reason for which you believe the delegates must entrust you with a much more bigger role. You were playing the supportive role in terms of organizing the NDC, but now some say that going into a crucial election in 2024, you do not want to toil with the kind of national leaders you elect for the NDC.
Sure. I've done a lot for the party, but what is important is what I'm bringing on board, because as we speak, I'm the Deputy National Organizer.
Yeah, but your track record may speak for you better.
Of course, I have been doing something positive before getting to the stage as a Deputy National Organizer. What is important is what I am bringing on board to help that department work hand in hand with the Functional Executive Committee to be able to achieve that purpose. The constitution of the party actually defines the role of the national organizer. And we are responsible for mobilization. We are to make sure that we look out for support. And then when it gets to elections, we get majority turnout. And I think that with my triple S that I introduced the other day at my campaign launch, if given the opportunity and I'm able to help strengthening the structures within that department. Don't forget that we have the youth organizers, we have the women organizers, we've got the Zongo caucus. And so it is important that we strengthen this. People ask, what do you mean strengthening?
Yeah.
There are a lot of people...
We'll talk about the 3S shortly.
Okay.
But I want to establish that fact that indeed you have the track record, because it's the track record that will give you that trust.
I do.
I mean, make you trustworthy for the delegates to endorse.
Before you are even given the opportunity to pick a form, you should be somebody who have served at an executive level. And mentioning where I'm coming from, it's clear that I've been serving from stages to stages. So they know actually what I have done before I'll be able to move from even the constituency into a region and
That's
become
where
a
some
national
say
officer.
you may have worn out. At some points, the fact that if indeed you were active, you were supportive of your boss, the national organizer of the NDC, Joshua Kamba, by now the NDC should have been in power.
Well,
if people rate your success by how you've either performed or underperformed in the last general elections, do you feel that they're being fair to you?
No, I don't think you have not been supporting your boss. I mean, overall boss of your group. I'm sure you've been supportive, playing your role. Right. And so it would be unfair for somebody to tell you that you don't have the authority to take certain decisions that your boss do. So people want to blame you for what your boss has done. And so the election is actually not about the boss then. The fact of the matter is that, it's time for people to go in for forms and contest for position. Once you qualify, you're a member of the NDC, and you go through that, you have the right to go in there. So I think what I'm bringing on board should be what people want to hear. That what are you bringing? What new are you bringing on board for us to believe in your leadership? Okay?
And not what you've done in the past.
No, what I have done in the past as a deputy, right. You cannot, take over affairs. You need to support the national organizer. Unless you want me to tell you what the national organizer has done, and that's not why I'm here. I'm here to tell you what I can do, and also what I have been doing as a member of the party, moving from stages to... I have supported enough, but I am thinking that there is some more that we can do. And so I need that authority to steer that myself.
And I'm just curious, is this a vote of no confidence in your boss, Joshua Kamba?
Pardon?
Is that a vote of no confidence in him?
Oh, no, not to say that. I keep saying that I believe he's done his bit. I think that I can do or add more onto what he has done for others to tell the story. It's not about passing vote of no confidence, no. But in fact, our tenure of office is ending. Right. And there's a need for re-election.
New leadership.
Exactly. So, it's not about, passing vote of no confidence, no. But it's about putting up something new to be able to, get that seat of organizer and also help, add what I have to make the party better than it was or it is now.
What do you see presently to be the greatest challenge for the National Democratic Congress in terms of your reorganization?
Well, the greatest challenge, I will say, is for us to actually, put ourselves together on a common goal of rescuing power, and then, securing Ghana from where it is now. That is the challenge we have as a nation. As a political party, internally, I will not say, we don't have a challenge per se. What we have now is to reorganize the party and get ready for political power. The challenge we have is getting rid of the New Patriotic Party in government. That is the challenge we are facing as a political party. But internally, we don't have so many challenges as you see, or as people say. But what we need to do is to add on onto what we have. We need to add some value. We need to make sure that, we put some programs and plans in place to make the party attractive. Remember that we have our base, and we're looking at, getting people who actually are not in our base or are not party people to buy into our ideology, to see our party as the next option, for our party to be very attractive for them to come on board, so that we can get that 50+1 and then, elect a president and form a government.
So now I want us to focus on the 3S policy, which happens to be your message, which you're selling to the delegates ahead of the crucial election in December. When you talk about the 3S policy, what are you trying to sell to the grassroots of the party?
Good, thank you. You know, after elections, people are elected into office. Some wants to be youth, women, Zongo Caucus chairman. They all know what they are up to. But we also have a plan, comprehensive one for that matter, going into elections. So strengthening the structures, basically, is that these officers elected must be trained, their capacity must be built so that they can fit into the national plan we have, considering their dynamics in their various constituencies. And if we are able to do that, and we get them to understand what we are all up to, the same direction we are going within specific periods, they will have nothing to do but to make sure they play along. And that is where we set our goals and make sure we achieve them overall from the national point. And then if we're able to do that, trust me, we will all be on the same wavelength. People will be doing same in Garu. People will be doing same in Ponkatamanso. People will be doing same in Ekunfi in the central region. And so some people will see that the NDC is doing something different this time around, and that will help us attract the people in terms of mobilization. The first S is strengthening the structure, which involves, that is within my department. But you see, I keep telling people that as much as we are looking at youth, women, Zongo Caucus, we're also going to extend our hand to other departments and share ideas with them and know their plans, such as the International Relations Department. Because remember that the mobilization is not only home, it's home and abroad. In terms of this that we are hearing of ROPA and other things coming in, it is important that the party is also attractive abroad, so that if we have to do something for people living in abroad, the party is attractive already. The moment we talk about NDC, people know what it is and what we are bringing on board. And we also look at the elections directorate. All we are doing in terms of mobilization, we need to turn that into votes. And the elections directorate have the officers who are very trained to manage elections, i.e. a polling agent, you know, looking at pink sheet, looking at printing of ballot with the EC right from the beginning to the end. And so we also need to look at what they are doing. We must get involved in their planning so that we fit into that of the organizational department. So we'll all be on one page. And then finally, you know, this time around, you can do without the IT guys. So we have an IT directorate, and then they do they actually transmit figures from one point to the other. And so imagine that we do a good work, we mobilize, the department has done a good work, elections directorate, they've supported, and then the IT guys are not up to task. That means we're going to have a delay, and by so doing, things may go wrong. And so we're also going to look at what they are doing, and we get their plan, and then we make sure that we fit that in so that we will all be on the same wavelength and make sure that at the end of the day, we get the votes from the mobilization. The elections directorate will help us with their men, and then the IT will be on standby to transmit into the results to the coalition center. That, not to say the EC's coalition center, that of the NDC, so that we can put the figures together on that pink sheet and be able to say that indeed we have X, Y, Z, and what you media do. The moment we have X, Y, Z, we will bring it out as a provisional result, and that will help checkmate guide the EC to make sure that the same results that we have, that they also have the same with representative of various political parties. They will have no option but to make sure that they put those figures together and bring it out as, you know, we have mentioned. Either than that, you leave room for people to do all manner of things. And those excuses later will not give us the ultimate, that is rescuing power and then forming a government. So that is what we are going to do, strengthen from the department to other, the directorates that work hand in hand with the organizational department to make sure that we are on the same track, doing the same thing at the same time.
Chief Biney, are you mindful of the fact that the office of the national organizer of the NDC has such a great responsibility that the rise and fall of the party rallies around that office?
Yes,
the 2024 elections, you have a governing party which is bent on breaking the 8. How do you intend to break that 8, technically, that the NPP says they are bent on breaking as well?
We are breaking the 8 by winning convincingly. If all this I'm telling you, if it's implemented, if it's evaluated, monitored, checked to make sure that where we have lapses, we check, we fit in. There is no way that Breaking the eight, as for breaking the eight, is breaking in their mouth. We are talking about...
Yeah, but you're also reorganizing.
No, yes, so...
You're not having your house intact.
No, but what I'm saying is that if we're reorganizing and all these structures that I'm telling you are strengthening, it's not going to be done here. It's going to be done on the ground. Right. And so we're going to get our people ready. We're going to be more attractive. There are a lot of people who are not NDC, who are not MPP per se, but those people, they help decide. They help us in choosing who becomes the president. If we do all this and they are conscious of what is happening, not that they don't know, but they still must be told exactly what it is. And we must show them alternative policies for them to know that indeed the NDC is an option. And if we should do that and we win convincingly, it's not about, we were in government in 2016 and we had to hand over power to them. And trust me, we're going to win convincingly and they will have nothing to do but to hand over.
The president says he's confident that regardless of who your candidate may be going into the next elections, the next government will be formed by the New Patriotic Party.
Yeah, that is his style. As much as his ministers are not performing, he's confident that they are doing something. So you leave him alone. Let's do our reorganization. Let's make sure we get our numbers. Let's turn the numbers into votes. Let's put them in the ballot. Let's count that vote. Let the EC or let the NDC come out with the provisional results that we are winning, and let who says he is a man more than all of us do otherwise. Leave the president.
What was that statement supposed to mean?
The statement is supposed to mean that we have to be fair. We're going to put out what the reflection of the will of the people, not the reflection of somebody who claims that he wants to hold on to power.
The former President John Mahama is making statements in the same light, and many have taken on the former president, including the NDC, for your persistent attack on the Electoral Commission, which is going to obviously organize the elections. And he says, for instance, that you're coming into the next elections with your own referee. Right, and that referee would be, I mean, trying as much as possible to widen the gap. But many say, looking at what statements we've heard in the past, boot for boot, coming into the race with your own referee, these are comments that threaten our democracy.
How? Boot for boot threatens democracy. We are coming with our referee, threatens democracy. How many times did the EC declare the results? How many times? Do you remember?
I guess the declaration was done once.
Hey, really?
Yes.
Once?
Once.
I'll give you homework. Go and check.
No, it was done once. Except that you have something else to say about
once.
That. The declaration was done once.
Were you in this country?
The press release was done twice in terms of the figures. So that's
in terms of the figures.
The figures, precisely.
There are a lot of changes.
but the declaration was done once.
But if you declare once and you change figures,
that's a press release.
If declaration is once, 40,000, you should end it. But if you change 4 times, tomorrow A, the next day B, the next day C, the next day D, you want us to say, I mean, Ayiko and clap for you.
How many times did you hear the Electoral Commissioner declare the results?
4 times.
Really?
Yeah. 4 times.
You heard it 4 times?
The Electoral Commission came and announced that, oh, this is the results.
Right.
Then the next thing on their website, they bring another figure. The next thing, another figure. Was it Joy News?
It was the Electoral Commission.
And so they didn't declare once. I'm sorry.
But the returning officer...
Oh, you are talking about the public announcement.
According to the law, is the Electoral Commissioner, isn't it?
Yes, and nobody's challenging that.
Pete's conversation with Chief Biney here on the Joy News channel, and also at myjoyonline.com, also on our social media platforms at Joy News on TV. And that's where we draw the curtains on the pulse here on the Joy News channel. I'm Blessed Sogah. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Also, the National Science and Maths Quiz is heating up. We'll give you a recap after this break.